In a world defined by status and societal norms, there's Evelyn, a noble lady, and James, a charming, intelligent man. Drawn together by an undeniable bond, they must navigate the intricate dance of high society. But can love truly conquer all? Unravel their captivating tale in Under the Moonlight. Now, as we prepare to dive into our story, make sure you're comfortable. Are you ready? It's story time. The grand ballroom of the Davenport mansion buzzed with life, casting vibrant hues of gold and silver. A constellation of London's elite danced, laughed, and gossiped under the imposing gleam of crystal chandeliers. The orchestra's harmonious symphony wove through the crowd, striking an intoxicating blend of gaiety and grandeur. Yet, amidst this flurry of orchestrated conviviality, a lone figure sat quietly by the window, gazing out at the night sky. Lady Evelyn Davenport, cloaked in a gown of midnight blue, was a study in contrast against the opulent spectacle around her. Her delicate features wore a graceful mask of contentment, but her azure eyes revealed a longing that the superficial glamour of her world failed to quench. The society's paragon of grace found solace not in the ballroom's golden splendor, but in the quiet luminescence of the moon. Outside the window, the moonlight draped the garden in a silvery blanket, casting an ethereal glow on the solitary oak and the silent fountain. The night's tranquility seemed to whisper secret tales to Evelyn, stories more intriguing than the masked facades and pretentious laughter that filled the ballroom. Evelyn sighed. "What mysteries lie beneath your quiet glow, dear moon?" she mused aloud, her soft voice barely a whisper. "Are they not more enchanting than the grandest tales spun under these chandeliers?" Meanwhile, an unfamiliar face emerged from the crowd. James Worthington, a man of modest lineage but rich intellect, stood at the periphery. His dark eyes, reflecting an abyss of thought, surveyed the ballroom. His countenance lacked the practiced smiles and perfected airs of the high-born men and women around him. In its place was an authenticity that made him a captivating enigma. The orchestra struck a lively waltz, and the crowd moved in synchronized harmony, like a painting coming to life. James watched as young men, bedecked in their finest attire, approached Lady Evelyn, their eyes shimmering with ill-disguised desire. But to their dismay, she rejected their invitations with a polite smile and a courteous refusal. "Would you not grace us with a dance, Lady Evelyn?" One gentleman with a fluttering cravat and a self-assured grin dared to persist. "I thank you, sir," she replied, her voice resonating with a graceful firmness. "But I find the moon's company more engaging this evening." Her candid words, a striking blend of wit and frankness, caught James's attention. Intrigued, he decided to approach the lady who seemed equally out of place in this world of artificial grandeur. "Lady Evelyn," James bowed in greeting as he approached her, his voice reflecting sincere admiration. "Your absence from the dance floor tonight has cost it the presence of its most radiant star." "A star is only radiant when it is content, Mr. Worthington," she replied with a soft smile. "And I believe it shines brightest when it's in the company it truly desires." Her profound words echoed in the recesses of his mind, stirring an unfamiliar feeling. There was more to Lady Evelyn than the society gossip and formal courtesies revealed, he thought. The rest of the evening slipped into the folds of time. Polite conversations and societal pleasantries ebbed and flowed around them, yet each of them carried an awareness of the other. As the moonlight cascaded through the towering windows, it bathed them both in a silver sheen, weaving an invisible thread between them. A thread as subtle and gentle as the moonlight itself. The evening's spectacle gradually subsided, and the mansion's opulence was replaced by a peaceful silence, marred only by the occasional rustling of a servant. Lady Evelyn retired to her quarters, the image of the moonlit garden and her conversation with James firmly etched in her mind. Similarly, James found himself strolling under the moonlight, the echo of Lady Evelyn's words accompanying him. They were two souls adrift in a sea of society's expectations, who had found an unexpected island of sincerity in each other. Unbeknownst to them, the stage was set, the actors were ready, and the moon above held their script, ready to narrate their tale under its watchful gaze. The morning after the ball found London bathed in the golden glow of a summer sun. The echoes of the previous night's revelries were now quiet whispers, fading in the light of the new day. In their respective corners of the city, Lady Evelyn and James Worthington woke to the comforting familiarity of their worlds, yet each carried a subtle change within. James, son of a prosperous merchant, had always been a stranger to the confines of societal expectations. His world was one of ledgers and commodities, a bustling hub of commerce painted with broad, pragmatic strokes. Yet his heart held a sanctuary for literature and philosophy, treasures more valuable than the gold his family coffers boasted. As he navigated through his daily obligations, his mind often replayed the words of Lady Evelyn. Her insights, like precious pearls, had added a new dimension to his world. Across town, in the refined ambiance of the Davenport mansion, Lady Evelyn engaged in her daily routines. Each delicate stitch she sewed, each polite correspondence she penned, seemed to echo the societal script she was meant to follow. Yet, beneath the calm surface of duty and decorum, a stream of thoughts flowed. Thoughts that found their source in the moonlit garden and a conversation with a certain gentleman. On a day that promised nothing more than routine, fate conspired to bring our protagonists together once again. In the lush gardens of the Davenport mansion, beneath the watchful gaze of the midday sun, Evelyn encountered a familiar face. "Mr. Worthington!" she exclaimed in mild surprise, her sapphire eyes widening. The sight of James in the familiar setting of her garden felt both unexpected and oddly comforting. "Lady Evelyn," James greeted with a slight bow, a smile tugging at his lips. "A pleasure to see you again." A silence hovered between them, not awkward but rather filled with unspoken understanding. The garden around them bloomed in vibrant colors, but the two found themselves engrossed in their burgeoning connection. As they strolled through the garden, their conversation flowed with an ease that belied their short acquaintance. James spoke of his love for literature and philosophy, of his dreams that soared beyond the boundaries of his trade. Evelyn, in turn, shared her longing for genuine experiences, her desire to understand the world beyond her ornate windows. They paused by a rose bush, its blossoms unfurling in a riot of crimson and pink. A butterfly, its wings a stunning mosaic of colors, fluttered around them, dancing from one bloom to another. They watched in shared silence, their hearts echoing the butterfly's delicate ballet. The simple beauty of the moment etched a shared memory, a bond that transcended their societal roles. As the day gradually receded, giving way to the soft hues of twilight, their rendezvous drew to a close. With a promise of meeting again, they parted ways, James back to his world of trade and Evelyn to her mansion's gilded cage. But as they retired to their separate lives, their minds were alive with the memory of their afternoon. In the quiet sanctuary of her room, Evelyn found herself revisiting their shared moment in the garden. The image of the butterfly, the bloom of the roses, and the sound of James's thoughtful words intertwined into a treasured memory. Likewise, James, ensconced in his study, found the numbers and figures of his work fading behind the vibrant echo of Evelyn's laughter and the intelligent spark in her eyes. As the day folded into the arms of the night, two souls, each nestled in their corner of London, found their thoughts reaching out to each other. Their story, still in its nascent stage, continued to unfold, quietly, subtly, like whispers in the garden. In the quiet solitude of their respective worlds, James Worthington and Lady Evelyn found their thoughts converging onto paper, their pens dancing in a ballet of words. Letters, meticulously penned and thoughtfully read, passed between them, weaving a tapestry of shared ideas and sentiments. Each epistle, carefully sealed with wax, carried pieces of their souls across the bustling city of London, forging a bond that was as delicate as it was profound. Their correspondence brought a refreshing change to their lives. For James, whose days were colored in the pragmatic hues of trade and commerce, these letters became his sanctuary, a breath of fresh air in the otherwise stifling routine. For Evelyn, her life of poised decorum and monotonous societal duties, the letters became a secret garden, vibrant and alive with intellectual discourse. As the bond between them deepened, London's social calendar brought forth another event, a grand soirée hosted by the neighboring estate. In the grandeur of the glittering ballroom, amidst the chatter of society's elite, James and Evelyn found themselves together again. Their interaction, sincere and insightful, formed a stark contrast to the superficial conversations that echoed around them. During their encounter, a moment arrived when James, prompted by the honest comfort he found in Evelyn's company, shared a secret. A fear that gnawed at his heart, the fear of being eternally entangled in a life he did not resonate with, the fear of his dreams withering amidst ledgers and transactions. The revelation, raw and vulnerable, hovered in the air between them, momentarily cloaking the revelry around them. Evelyn, with the understanding that the revelation had cost James his emotional comfort, reached out with words of empathy and assurance. "You are not alone in your fears, Mr. Worthington," she said, her voice gentle yet firm. "Remember, a man's worth is not dictated by his profession, but by his character. And from what I've seen, your character is one of depth and sincerity." As the evening wore on, an opportunity arose for them to escape the grandeur of the ballroom. Underneath the twinkling stars, in a quieter corner of the estate's garden, they shared a dance. The rustling leaves provided the melody, the whispering breeze their rhythm. Their steps, in sync with each other, marked a dance that was as much metaphorical as it was literal. In that intimate proximity, the emotions burgeoning between them found a quiet acknowledgement, an understanding that transcended the need for words. As the evening folded into the arms of the night, their shared moment in the garden had to end. The need for propriety led them back to the ballroom, back to the sea of faces masked with polite facades. As they parted, a soft promise to write again soon hung in the air between them. A promise that held more weight than the grandest of vows spoken in that glittering soirée. Back in their respective worlds, their minds replayed the dance under the stars, the raw honesty of their conversation, and the comfort they found in each other's company. The dance of words they had begun through letters had taken a new turn, and in their hearts, they knew it was a dance that they wished would never end. Through the exchanges of written words, Evelyn and James began to discover an affection for each other that transcended the bounds of their intellectual companionship. The sentiment seeped into their letters, subtly altering the strokes of their pens, the curve of their alphabets, the rhythm of their sentences. The parchment no longer bore mere words, but now held whispers of affection. In the quiet recesses of their minds, they found themselves contemplating the change in their relationship. James, in the silence of his study, surrounded by ledgers and contracts, found his mind wandering back to Evelyn's letters, her words echoing in his heart. A question began to form, a notion he had not dared to explore before. Could this be love? Similarly, Evelyn, in the solitude of her chambers, found herself drawn into introspection. As her fingers traced over James's words, her heart fluttered. Was it possible that she too was falling in love with the man behind the letters, the man who danced under the stars with her? Their contemplations were accompanied by an exploration of their respective familial dynamics. James, forever in the shadow of his father's expectations, found himself longing for the freedom to pursue his dreams. On the other hand, Evelyn, the perfect image of a lady, felt trapped in her life, the societal norms a cage from which she wished to escape. The bustling city of London, in all its chaos and vibrancy, presented an unexpected opportunity for the protagonists. In a quaint bookstore tucked away in a cobblestone alley, a place where words were revered and stories celebrated, Evelyn and James found themselves standing face to face. In the intimate embrace of the book-laden walls, their connection was palpable. They explored the stacks, sharing insights and thoughts on various works. The hushed reverence of the store, the scent of aged paper, the soft rustling of turning pages, all lent itself to the intimacy of the moment. Emboldened by their surroundings and the memory of James's earlier vulnerability, Evelyn decided to lower her own defenses. She confessed her longing for freedom, her wish to be more than just Lady Evelyn, the societal prop. She shared her desire to make her own path, to contribute more than just decorum to her existence. James listened, each word she spoke echoing in his heart. He felt a surge of empathy for Evelyn, her struggle so similar to his own. Choosing his words carefully, he offered her his reassurance. "You are not alone, Evelyn," he said softly, using her given name for the first time, a sign of their deepening intimacy. "The world may try to confine us, but it cannot control our hearts, our minds. We are more than the roles thrust upon us." The sun began to set, casting a warm glow on the labyrinth of books, on Evelyn and James. As they left the bookstore, they carried with them a sense of comfort, a sense of understanding, and a silent promise of unvoiced affection. Their hearts beat to the rhythm of anticipation, their minds alive with the promise of what could be. The emotions between them were yet unspoken, but in their hearts, they acknowledged it, a sweet secret they were yet to confess. As the city of London bathed in the glow of twilight, Evelyn and James, each lost in their thoughts, looked forward to their future with a newfound excitement. The strings of their hearts strummed a melody that was yet to fully blossom, but held the promise of a symphony that would resonate under the moonlight. Within the guarded sanctuary of their hearts, Evelyn and James navigated the labyrinth of their heightened emotions. Love, they discovered, was an exhilarating and terrifying journey. The pulsating desire to voice their feelings jostled against the gnawing fear of rejection, creating a symphony of unspoken love that echoed in their hearts. As the days passed in a whirlwind of emotion, James found himself tethered to a singular thought, a confession. He resolved to pen down his feelings, weaving his love into a tapestry of heartfelt words. The letter to Evelyn bore his heart, its words a confession of his love for her. Across the vast expanse of the estate, Evelyn found herself clutching James's letter, her heart echoing his confession. Joy, like a spring dawn, bloomed within her, pushing away the lingering shadows of uncertainty. She picked up her quill, the sharp tip dancing across the parchment, spelling out her own confession. The written words, she found, were a window into her soul, laying bare her love for James. As their confessions met in the quiet privacy of their letters, the reality of their social standing cast a shadow over their newfound happiness. The societal implications of their relationship could not be ignored. The chasm between James's humble origins and Evelyn's noble lineage loomed large, threatening to engulf their love in its depths. While James grappled with his self-worth, the societal differences pricked at his sense of belonging. He wrestled with the fear of dragging Evelyn into the murky waters of societal disdain due to his common status. He was a man in love, yes, but he was also a man of honor. The fear of causing Evelyn any harm weighed heavily on him. On the other side, Evelyn found herself caught between her family's expectations and the call of her heart. Her noble lineage, a golden cage that she had long desired to escape, threatened to ensnare her once again. She loved James, of that she was certain. But was her love strong enough to weather the storm of societal norms? In the midst of their personal struggles, the strength of their love shone through. Their letters became their sanctuary, a space where they could offer each other comfort and reassurance. Each word they wrote was a testament to their love and commitment, each sentence a pledge to face the looming challenges together. "I am yours, Evelyn, in every way that matters. I will stand by you through the storms and the calm. My love for you is unwavering," James wrote, his words a beacon of strength in the uncertain sea of their relationship. "James, my heart has chosen you, and it will not be swayed. Together, we can face whatever may come. I am yours, completely and irrevocably, Evelyn replied, her words reflecting her steadfast determination and unwavering love. As their words met across the parchment, they each found solace in the other's commitment. They were in love, and though their path was fraught with challenges, they were ready to walk it together, hand in hand. The moon watched over them as they penned their vows to each other, its soft glow a comforting blanket over the world. Their love had been confessed, and it was being tested, but they stood firm, their hearts echoing the promise of their words. The stage was set, the curtain ready to rise on the final act of their journey. Their hearts, bound by love and tested by circumstance, beat in sync, awaiting the resolution under the watchful gaze of the moonlight. As the dawn of a new day broke, the tension hung heavily over the manor. Evelyn and James, their hearts aflame with love and anticipation, stood at the precipice of their fate. The silent whispers of apprehension echoed in their souls, punctuating the calm before the storm. For James, the weight of the societal pressures bore down on him. He grappled with his insecurities, the fear of rejection clawing at his mind. Yet the love for Evelyn within him was a blazing sun, outshining the darkness of his fears. He resolved to rise above his status, to face the potential scorn and derision. His heart thumped in his chest as he prepared to ask for Evelyn's hand, marking the crescendo of his character's evolution. Evelyn, on the other hand, felt the familiar bonds of societal expectations tightening around her. Her noble lineage, once a badge of honor, now stood as a barrier to her heart's desire. But her love for James ignited a determination within her. She chose to defy the expectations, to stand firmly by the side of the man she loved. It was a bold, brave step, one that was reflective of her growth and the strength of her resolve. Their love, confessed and tested, was now ready for its ultimate trial. The opposition they faced from Evelyn's family was fierce. The societal norms stood as formidable walls, threatening to imprison their love. But they held fast, their love acting as their compass, guiding them through the storm. Their shared resilience, their unwavering commitment to each other, and their strength in the face of adversity became the beacon of their bond. In the face of the relentless opposition, they decided to carve a path for themselves, to build a life together, independent of the societal constraints. Their shared dream of a future together was an emblem of their love's triumph. With the resolution made, they stood under the silver wash of the moonlight, their hands entwined. The cool night breeze whispered through the leaves, carrying the promise of their tomorrow. As they looked into each other's eyes, they saw the reflection of their journey, the trials they had overcome, the bond they had formed, and the love they had nourished. "I am yours, Evelyn," James whispered into the quiet night, his voice heavy with emotion. "And I am yours, James," Evelyn replied, her voice soft but filled with conviction. The world seemed to hold its breath as they stood there, their bodies close, their hearts beating in synchrony. It was a peaceful moment, one that signaled the end of their tumultuous journey. Their love had weathered the storm. It had been tested and had emerged triumphant. And so, under the watchful gaze of the moonlight, they reveled in their victory. Their eyes held the promise of a future, a lifetime of shared laughter, shared tears, and unwavering love. Their journey had not been easy, but as they held each other close, they knew it had been worth it. Their hearts were full, their souls at peace. The trials of their past seemed distant, their love creating a beautiful cocoon around them. As they looked up at the moon, its soft glow illuminating their faces, they knew they had found their happily ever after. As our story comes to a close, let the lull of this soothing ambiance continue to cradle you further into your journey of calmness and rest. Thank you for allowing me to be a part of your relaxation and sleep routine tonight. Remember, each day brings a new story, and each night brings a fresh chance to regenerate, to dream, and to become more of who you are. As this background sound lulls you further into sleep, I hope you find peace, comfort, and a well-deserved rest. Good night, dear listener. Until our next story, sleep well and dream beautifully.